Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
Many people, Putin's famous joke about a son asking his father why their home in Europe is cold. This joke became famous because it talked about the energy problems Europe faced. Leo sat in the cold living room under a blanket. "Dad," he asked, "why is our house so cold?" His father looked up from his newspaper. "Because Russia attacked Ukraine." Leo was confused. "But what does that have to do with us?" "Well, our country put sanctions on Russia," his father explained. "Why?" Leo asked. "To make life difficult for the Russians." Leo looked around their dark, cold room and then back at his father and asked, "Then, are we Russians?" While this is a joke, European leaders did not want their citizens to feel this way. That is why the European Union announced a very big plan to control its own energy. Now, the European Union has a very big plan. In the middle of 2025, they announced they want to stop buying all oil and gas from Russia. The goal is to end all these energy imports completely by the end of 2027. The EU says this plan is for two main reasons. First, it is to make sure Europe's energy supply is safe and secure in the future. Second, it is to stop sending money to Russia. This money could be used to help fund Russia's war actions. Most of the countries in the EU agree with this important plan. 25 out of the 27 EU countries support the idea. They see it as a necessary step. However, 3 countries are worried about the plan and its effects. These countries are Hungary, Slovakia, and Austria. They are concerned because they still buy a lot of Russian energy, and they need time and help to find new energy sources. Even though these countries have concerns, leaders in the EU say they believe the plan will still move forward. The EU says the rules allow them to pass the plan even if not all countries agree. News reports in different countries say this decision is a very big step. It shows Europe is serious about changing where its energy comes from and becoming independent from Russia. This is a major change for the whole continent. 2. What the ban means. The European Union wants to stop buying all energy from Russia. To do this, the EU is creating new laws. These laws will tell countries how and when they must stop using Russian oil and gas. First, let's look at natural gas. The new rules say that no new agreements or contracts to buy gas from Russia can be made after the middle of the year 2025. This means that from June 18th, 2025, European companies cannot sign any new deals for Russian gas. For the agreements that are already in place, the plan is to end them step by step. Short-term contracts must end by the middle of 2026. Even longer-term gas deals must stop by the end of 2027. There might be a few small exceptions for countries far from the sea, but the general rule is that Russian gas will not be bought after this date. Places in Europe called LNG terminals, where ships bring gas, will also be part of the ban. From the first day of 2026, these terminals cannot provide services to any Russian customers or companies. This stops one way that Russian gas can enter Europe. These steps are part of a larger strategy by the EU. This strategy is called REPowerEU. The goal of REPowerEU is to make Europe less dependent on Russia for energy and to make Europe's energy supply safer. The EU says they will never go back to using Russian gas like before. The new rules also include oil. The EU already stopped most Russian oil coming by sea a few years ago. Now, the plan is to stop all remaining Russian oil imports. This means even oil that comes through pipes to countries like Hungary and Slovakia must stop by the end of 2027. Each country in the EU must prepare a national plan. This plan needs to explain exactly how the country will stop buying Russian oil and gas, and where it will find other energy sources. These national plans must be ready and sent to the EU by the start of 2026. The European Commission believes that Europe will still have enough energy. They say that global markets can offer the needed oil and gas. Also, they note that Europe is using less gas now and using more clean energy. The plan is designed so that no country will be without the energy it needs. This ban is a big step. It shows the EU's strong decision to end its energy ties with Russia. It is seen as a way to improve Europe's security and support its values. 3. Big talks in Europe. In June, important energy leaders from EU countries met. They had big talks about the plan to stop using Russian oil and gas. It was not easy, and countries had different ideas. Hungary and Slovakia were two countries that did not support the plan. They said they had worries about it. Austria was not sure at first, but later Austria said it would support the plan. Germany, Spain, and France were very happy with the idea. They strongly supported stopping Russian energy imports. The leader of Hungary, Viktor Orban, was very much against the plan. He said it would cause many problems for his country. He worried about the cost of energy for families. Some countries in Eastern Europe felt that this plan was very important. They thought it was a necessary step for their safety. Most countries in the EU agreed with the plan. The European Parliament, which is a big group of elected people from EU countries, also agreed. They believed it was the right thing to do. The EU wants to move forward with the plan. Even if not every single country agrees, the EU can use a special rule. This rule means that if enough countries say yes, the plan can still happen. It does not need every country to say yes. This shows the EU is serious about making this change, even with disagreements. These meetings and talks showed how difficult big changes can be. Countries had to think about their own needs and also the needs of the whole EU. The discussions were an important step in deciding Europe's energy future. Section 4. Old gas pipes, new problems. For many, many years, European countries bought a lot of energy from Russia. This energy traveled through a large network of pipelines that were built over many decades. These big pipes were like main roads for energy, carrying natural gas from faraway places in Russia to homes and businesses across Europe. They went across different countries on land and also under the sea, connecting Europe strongly to Russia's energy supply. Before the year 2022, Europe depended heavily on Russia for its energy needs. Around half of all the natural gas used in European countries came from Russia through these pipelines. Russia also sold more than a quarter of the oil that Europe needed, which also often came through pipes. This created a very important link for energy supply. However, this link sometimes created problems. Russia sometimes used its control over the energy flow to put pressure on European countries during political disagreements. Russia stopped or slowed down the gas supply through the pipes a few times in the past. These moments showed Europe that relying so much on one supplier was risky and could make Europe less secure. When Russia began its large military action in Ukraine in 2022, the danger of this dependence became very clear. European leaders decided it was necessary to end this relationship. The goal was to make Europe's energy supply safe and independent, and also to stop providing money to Russia through energy sales. Since then, European countries have worked very hard to find new energy sellers. They have started buying much more gas from countries like Norway, which sends gas through pipes, and the United States, which sends liquid gas, LNG, by ship. Europe has also used energy more carefully and increased energy from sun and wind. Because of these actions, Russia is already selling much less gas and oil to Europe now than it did before 2022. The amount has dropped significantly. The new plan from the European Union is a final step to cut this link completely. It is a new law that will stop all Russian energy, including gas and oil, from coming into Europe by late 2027. This ban includes the energy that still comes through the old big pipelines that were used for decades. Famous pipes, like the Nord Stream lines under the Baltic Sea, or pipes going through Ukraine, are part of this ban. The new law means that no Russian gas or oil will be allowed through any of these old routes anymore. This marks a very big change, ending a long history of Europe receiving energy from Russia through its pipeline network. The aim is a safer and more independent energy future for Europe. 5. Changes for big companies. Many big energy companies in Europe still have business deals to buy gas and oil from Russia. These deals are often for many years. Ending these deals before they finish is not easy. Companies usually have contracts that they must follow. But the European Union has a new law. This law says that because of the big changes, companies can stop their deals with Russia. The EU says this is okay, because the new law is like a big event that companies cannot control. It is a special rule for special times. However, the energy companies are still worried. They think the Russian sellers might not agree. The companies are afraid there could be legal problems, or that Russia might try to get money from them for ending the contracts early. Legal experts say this is a new situation, and nobody is sure how it will work. If Europe stops buying gas from Russia, it will need to buy more gas from other countries around the world. This includes gas that comes on ships, called LNG. When many countries want to buy the same things, the price can go up. So, needing more gas from other places might make energy in Europe more expensive for people and businesses. Countries like the United States have a lot of natural gas. Companies from the US could sell more of their gas to Europe. This could help Europe get the energy it needs. Some countries, like Hungary and Austria, have big oil companies that buy oil through pipelines from Russia. These companies will need to find new countries to buy their oil from. They will need to change who they buy from and how they get the oil. This will also cost them money. Russia sells a lot of oil. If Europe stops buying, Russia will try to sell more oil to other big countries, especially China and India. These two countries already buy a lot of oil from Russia. Russia hopes this will help its economy, even if Europe stops buying. So far, energy prices in Europe have not changed a lot because of this new plan. Gas storage is full, and there is enough energy for now. But people are watching to see what happens in the future, especially when it gets cold and more energy is needed. Experts say that even with this big change, the world's energy market is large, and other suppliers are available. 6. Money and our planet. This plan to stop using Russian energy will affect money. Governments in Europe know that energy prices could change. They want to help people if prices go up too much. For example, they might help families pay for heating or keep extra gas safely stored. This is to make sure people are okay and energy is always there. The EU hopes this plan will make Europe's energy supply much safer in the future. Europe will not depend on one country for its energy anymore. This makes the EU stronger because Russia cannot use energy to cause problems. Countries are also planning for other ways to get energy. They are looking more at green energy, like energy from the sun and the wind. Using less oil and gas helps the EU's goals to protect the environment. This new plan can help make the change to clean energy happen faster. When Europe stops buying Russian oil and gas, countries have to find new energy fast. This push can help them build more solar panels or wind farms. But some people worry about the short term. They think some countries might use more coal for a little while to make sure they have enough energy. Coal is bad for the environment. The EU will watch this carefully. The goal is to move away from fossil fuels, not use more. In the long run, the EU believes this plan is good for both safety and the planet. It means Europe will be more secure and use cleaner energy in the future. 7. What other countries think? Other countries watched as Europe made its plan. Russia was not happy. The Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said the plan was political. He said it would hurt Europe more than Russia. Russia said it might do things in return. Russia will try to sell its oil and gas to other places, like China and India. But this might mean Russia sells for less money. Ukraine was very happy. Kyiv's government wanted Europe to stop giving money to Russia for energy. They said this money helped pay for the war. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called the EU's decision good and brave. Ukraine hopes other countries will make sanctions stronger too. The United States supports Europe's plan. U.S. officials said they support Europe finding new energy sources. The White House National Security Council said this helps stop Russia. U.S. Ambassador Mark Gittenstein said the plan helps reach shared goals with the U.S. The U.S. has a lot of liquid gas, LNG, to sell to Europe. China and India buy much of Russia's oil and gas now. They did not say a lot about Europe's ban. China said countries should buy energy based on what the market needs. Both China and India might buy more energy from Russia. They are unlikely to stop buying unless prices change a lot. Other oil countries, like those in the Middle East, have stayed mostly quiet. The EU's plan sends a message to the world. It shows that Western countries are together against Russia's actions. It means Europe will accept some economic difficulty for safety. This move shows Europe is serious about changing its energy future and not depending on Russia. 8. The road ahead. The European Union's big plan to stop buying Russian energy is now moving forward. It must go through steps to become a law. People in the European Parliament and energy ministers from different countries will discuss it. Most countries agree with the plan. Because most countries agree, the law can pass even if one or two countries do not like it much. This means the EU wants to act even if not everyone is 100% happy. After the law is passed, each country in the EU must create its own detailed plan. This plan will show exactly how that country will stop using Russian oil and gas. Countries have until the start of 2026 to make these plans. When the plans are ready, energy companies will have to start ending their business deals with Russia. These deals might be for buying gas or oil. Ending deals early can be difficult and might cause legal problems. Some companies might have to go to court. Russia might also react to this. They could make it harder for Europe or try to sell their energy to other countries even more. This decision is a very important change for Europe. For many decades, Europe used a lot of fuel from Russia. Now, the EU wants to end this completely. The main goal is to buy no oil or gas from Russia anymore. This is a big step away from the past. Stopping this energy connection is important for Europe's security. It means Europe will not depend on Russia anymore. Russia has sometimes used energy to cause problems for Europe. Ending this link makes Europe stronger and safer. It is also a big step for Europe's future energy. It helps countries build more wind and solar farms faster. They are looking for new energy friends in other parts of the world too. People will watch closely to see how this big change works. It is a challenge, but the EU seems determined. It means Europe is trying to become more independent and secure. What do you think will be the biggest challenge for Europe as it stops using Russian energy?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.